I do hope you are well from wherever you're watching the Dialogue KE with me, Sammy Adika, and our sign language interpreter, Boniface Mureithi, at the right bottom of your screen right there. And starting us off, President William Ruto has commended the Supreme Court for being a firm and faithful custodian of the Constitution, a defender of human rights, a pillar of democracy, and champion of justice for all Kenyans. Now speaking as the Supreme Court marked 12 years since its establishment, the head of state reiterated that the court's journey through its jurisprudence mandate, it must stay agile, forward-thinking, innovative, and accountable to meeting the ever-evolving and complex challenges. Let's listen in to what President William Ruto had to say early in the day.
Over the past 12 years, the Supreme Court has played a transformative role in shaping both Kenya's jurisprudence and shaping our country's socio-political development. This court's landmark judgments have influenced the daily lives of Kenyans while reinforcing the core principles of our democracy. Through hearing and determining 4 presidential election petitions over the last 3 election cycles, the court has set critical benchmarks for conducting free, fair, and transparent elections. Likewise, through the landmark advisory opinions on devolution and the relationship between the bicameral houses of parliament, the Supreme Court has developed guiding frameworks that clarify interactions between the National Assembly and the Senate, reinforcing devolution as a cornerstone of our transformative constitution.
Each branch of government plays an important role in supporting the Supreme Court as it leads the judiciary in delivering justice. We are committed to working alongside the judiciary to continue developing a judicial system that honors the aspirations of Kenyans and upholds our constitution, reinforcing the foundations of our democracy. We must work in unity and with a singular sense of purpose to ensure that the Supreme Court remains a shining beacon of integrity, a trusted guardian of our rights and freedoms, a champion of the rule of law, and a leading force in producing progressive jurisprudence, not just in our country, not just in our continent, but also globally.
For the Supreme Court to continue fulfilling our mandate effectively, close interinstitutional and collaboration and support are vital. Upholding the rule of law and protecting constitutional rights is a collective responsibility that calls for cooperation and respect among the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive, and other state agencies. I therefore call on collaborative relationship that will strengthen our resilience of our legal system and allow the Supreme Court and the wider judiciary to serve as a true pillar of justice.
We remain committed to partner with the judicial and legal fraternity in building a more accessible, empathetic, and efficient judicial ecosystem which delivers justice to all in a timely, fair, effective, and accessible manner.
In these and countless other judgments, the Supreme Court has affirmed its role as a transformative agent in the society.
On matters education, over 900,000 learners have commenced the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education (KCSE) theory papers with the examination body assuring Kenyans that all is set for the tests, now which is expected to run for the next 3 weeks. Now there's even center managers manning the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examination have been directed to switch off CCTV cameras and smart screens in their schools. Now, according to Kisii County Director of Education Philip Chirchir, the directive was given by the Kenya National Examination Council (NEC) for monitoring and safety of the examination.
Na kuna hii kasumba ya kwamba ati sisi watu kutoka katika hii jamii tunabaguliwa ya kwamba mtihani tunaiba kila wakati. So tunaambia walimu ambao ndio wasimamizi wa mitihani waondoe hilo tatizo ambalo liko ya kwamba sisi watu wa Kisii ni wezi wa mtihani, na sio hivyo. Kwa hivyo tunaambia walimu, kwa sababu wao ndio wamepewa majukumu na serikali ya kuchunga mtihani na kuhakikisha hakuna wizi wa mtihani wowote. Na walimu wamejitayarisha vizuri, watoto wetu tunajua vizuri wametayarishwa vizuri na watafanya mtihani wao vizuri sana. Security, tumepanga kila kituo kiko na security ya kutosha, na pia sisi tutakuwa tunazunguka kila sehemu kuhakikisha kwamba tunaangalia kila pande na kuangalia mtihani inafanywa namna gani. Kwa sababu ni multi agency team, tutakuwa tukizunguka kila pahali na tuna hakika hakuna mtihani itaibiwa, na tunataka kuhakikishia Wakenya wote ya kwamba hakuna mtihani ambaye umeibiwa. Hakuna mtihani itaibiwa. Kila wakati huwa kuna mipango ambayo inawekwa ili kuhakikisha mtihani inaenda vizuri, especially kama wale watoto ambao ile hali tulikuwa naye ya kubeba mtihani kutoka hapa kwa sababu ya the hardship exams. Saa hizi tunahakikisha ya kwamba ikiwa wewe hauyuko hautafanya huo mtihani. Kwa hivyo mipango iko this time kuhakikisha ya kwamba all the loops hali pote pako na tatizo kuhakikisha tumefunika. Lakini na mitihani hapa pia zile mpangilio wa kuhakikisha mtihani inafunguliwa kutoka wa KCSE unatoka hapa saa 1 na ile wa Kipsea ulikuwa unatoka 6 kwa sababu shule nazo ni nyingi. Hapa hatuna mashule mengi sana, tuko na 41 centers.
Well, now on matters health, over 13 million Kenyans have registered with the Social Health Authority. This is according to the government spokesperson, Isaac Mwaura, who says that SHA has successfully enrolled 4,760 public and government facilities, 2,498 private facilities, 1,442 faith-based facilities, 17 community facilities, and 86 other healthcare institutions across the country. Now, on matters cost of living, Mwaura says the government has put in place sector-specific initiatives to improve affordability and economic resilience for all Kenyans.
Sasa hivi tuna mwamko mpya wa kwamba kutokana na zile sera na jitihada ambazo serikali imeweza kutia, tunaona kwamba kuna kupunguka kwa bei ya gharama ya maisha, na mfumuko wa bei umeweza kushuka chini sana, kutoka 9% mpaka 3.6%. Hili ni jambo zuri zaidi, ni jambo ambalo tunafaa kulisifia, kutokana kwa mfano kwa mpango ule wa serikali wa mbolea, kupunguza bei ya mbolea kutoka shilingi 7,000 mpaka shilingi 2,500. Ukiangalia zile zahanati na hospitali za umma zaidi 1,760 zimeweza kusajili katika mfumo huu, na pia zile za kibinafsi 1,498, na pia wale ambao ni zile hospitali ambazo ni za kama ni makanisa na pia hata misikiti zaidi ya 1,442, na pia kuna watu ambao wana hospitali zao za kijamii 17, na hata kuna pia zile cancer centers, centers za saratani ambao ni 55 ambazo zimeweza kusajili. Kwa hivyo watu waweze kuja kwa wingi. Tayari serikali imeweza kutenga shilingi bilioni 9 kumalizana na lile deni la shilingi bilioni 30. Wiki mbili zilizopita ilikuwa bilioni 1.5. Tunaendelea kupata zile pesa, na bilioni 1 hizi ni itaenda kwa ule mpango wote wa Linda Mama.
Well, still on matters health, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has urged the Ministry of Health to expedite the launch and implementation of the National Obstetrics Point of Care ultrasound guidelines to ensure that women the benefits through this initiative. Now, the initiative will help facilitate nurses, midwives, and clinical officers to perform ultrasound screening even at community level, which will help in maternal care and reduce endometrial issues. Now, while addressing the ceremony facilitated by Ushirika Wema and supported by Bill and Belinda Gates Foundation, stakeholders noted that the guidelines will help essential and critical milestone in enabling flexibility policy when rolling out portable ultrasound.
Of helping our people access critical health services. And I just want to encourage you to be very, very proactive and powerful in your communication. We have a new era where the social media comes into play. And one of the most dangerous areas, if there's miscommunication, would be in the health sector. So it is absolutely important that we really get our messaging right, because it can be a matter of life and death for our citizens.
It is a privilege to join in this close-out meeting this morning of Uhai wa Mwema wa Mtoto project, which has played a very, very significant role in shaping the use of the point-of-care ultrasound in Kenya. As the Council of Governors, we are proud to have been involved in the entire process from the time of inception up to date, when we are actually closing out on the program for developing the OPOCA's guidelines. And we really appreciate, because at this stage then we'll find it that we have been involved fully and we'll take ownership.
So I just want to encourage you that after this, the post launch and how you manage it and how you communicate is going to be very, very critical.
Well, quite a relief right there. Now, on matters climate, the government, through the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, in collaboration with other stakeholders, hosted its first series of thematic pre-convening events in the build-up to Africa Climate Summit at 1, focusing on climate adaptation and resilience and youth and children inclusion on today, that is the 4th and 5th of November 2024. Now, Sela Bogonko, co-founder and CEO of Jacob's Ladder Africa, stated that the groundbreaking Africa Climate Summit represented a new chapter in Africa's journey of owning and steering the conversation on the unique climate change solutions that Africa can offer to the world.
Is actually a broader framework in terms of an actual secretariat. Kenya was mandated to set up an official secretariat here, just the way we have the UN. So there's supposed to be an official secretariat for the Africa Climate Summit in Kenya. And so our contribution, like I said earlier, even as they're setting up the structures and planning perhaps for the next convening, we are making our contribution to be able to say, this is what the CSOs are saying, this is what private sector is saying, this is what even media, because we do have a forum with media separately, to say in terms of how do we help you, or how do we help amplify the message around ACS. And so our role is really a convener. You know, I've said before that we didn't have to do this. We focus on creating green jobs for young people, but then we know that one of the ways to realize that at a macro level is to make sure that this policy or this framework that was signed and committed to by African heads of state can be able to be implemented and trickled, and that it trickles down all the way.
KEPSA is the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. And us being part of the conveners of this forum is very important, because when you look at Africa Climate Summit at 1, in the first summit that was held, that is in 2023, the private sector was key because we were heading to COP28. And remember, one of the key undertakings was that private sector was put at the helm because they realized that 70% of carbon emissions, so global emissions globally, come from the private sector. And us as the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, having a membership of over 2 million private businesses and over 45 million businesses through the International Chamber of Commerce Kenyan chapter, it means we contribute a lot when it comes to carbon emissions. So being part of this discussion, it helps us to play a key role to the question you've asked on renewable energy, manufacturing, and even creation of jobs. And remember, one of the agenda that the president had on the bottom-up economic transformation agenda is creation of green jobs. And when you look at the theme that was there for the last ACS was green growth and climate finance. So renewable energy space, the private sector is playing a key role. We are actually enforcing and educating our members to embrace renewable energy from solar to wind to hydro, because this one will help to cut carbon emissions. And secondly, remember that also we are part of the Nairobi Restoration that is looking into giving jobs to the youths, the green jobs specifically. We saw some youths who are actually using that waste to burn it and to recycle it and actually use it as a source of heat. So the private sector, what we are playing is, we are playing a key role when it comes to renewable energy.
Moving forward, in a powerful stand against female genital mutilation, FGM, the Nguvu Collective, KEWOPA, and the Anti-FGM Board Kenya have launched the Break the Blade campaign that brought together different stakeholders to reinforce the urgent need for a united front against FGM. As spearheaded by Nguvu Change leaders, the survivors, the campaign calls for collaborative efforts to eliminate FGM in Kenya, with leaders emphasizing the need to protect and empower future generations.
Most of these girls are between infancy and 15 years of age.
They are catch before they even understand what is happening to them.
Before they even have a voice.
FGM is a harmful practice.
It's a violation of human rights.
This regressive act must end.
Join us in taking a stand.
Well, that right there marks the end of the first part of the Dialogue KE tonight. But in a couple of minutes from now, I'll be joined by Kathy Irungu and David Mwangi, who will be helping us make sense of the state of the nation currently. As we speak, there has been issues that the country has been facing. So they will be helping us make sense of current affairs issues and also the political happenings in the country. We now understand that we have Kithure Kindiki as the deputy president of the country. It's now time to put aside impeachment case or other issues that were surrounding former deputy president, that is Rigathi Gachagua, and focus on the current issues that the country is facing. Do get in touch with us through our socials, that is Hope TV Kenya, and on my X-Space at Sammy Adika. I'll look on more in a couple of minutes.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Rafiki soul is the promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond watangaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful, ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful, ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki soul. Is a promise of a hand that reaches Zion, watangaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki mzuri.
Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive. Welcome to the world of Hope Media, a media unit of Christ is the Answer Ministries that is committed to spreading the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ through the transformative power of media. Hope Media is dedicated to utilizing various forms of media to spread the message of hope, love, and redemption to all people around the world. Hope Media consists of various units that work together to achieve this goal. These units include Hope FM. Hope FM is your #1 Christian radio station offering you discussions on current day-to-day issues, inspiring music, life-changing sermons, and news updates, broadcasting 80% in English and 20% in Swahili, with listenership of over 12 million every month. Hope TV. Hope TV programming is designed to inspire, educate, and challenge the viewer with wholesome content to reach various demographic groups, children, youth, and adults, both male and female, with viewership of over 24 million every month. Hope Recording Studios. Hope Recording Studios is a state-of-the-art recording facility that offers high-quality recording, mixing, and mastering services. It is designed to meet the needs of musicians, artists, and other creative professionals who require top-notch recording facilities. Hope Creative. At Hope Creatives, we believe that inspiring graphic design work doesn't just happen. It takes the right people with wild out-of-the-box ideas committed to the same ideals, working together to make it happen. We listen, we learn, we brand. Hope Digital. Hope Digital is a creative digital unit within Hope Media. We are driven by a passion to creatively express ourselves while influencing you with the same creative energy in online spaces and beyond. At Hope Media, we believe that media can be a powerful tool for spreading the message of hope as well as grow your business through advertisements, and we do this with excellence. For more information regarding our services, please visit www.hopemediakenya.org or call us on 0709 861 180. Hope Media. We keep hope alive.
Thank you for choosing Hope TV, the channel that brings you hope, entertainment, and inspiration. We value you and would like to serve you better. Talk to us by scanning this QR code on your screen or go to our social media page at Hope TV Kenya and click on the survey link by the name Hope TV Survey. It will just take a few minutes but means the world to us. We value your feedback. Hope TV, look and live.
Wake up every morning to an exciting moment of worship. With a powerful inspiration from God's word.
Psalm 84 verse 4 says, "Blessed are those that abide, that dwell in the house of God." The blessing is on those that dwell, those that abide. They have made the house of God their abode.
The kingdom of God is already with us in the present time we are in, but it will also be fully realized at the end of the age. But the kingdom has been prepared by God.
On Hope Devotion every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Only on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Santiago had told me, this is how we caught you. When you, and this is very important, and I'm not telling Christians to do wrong things, but these are facts that we don't know. When you enter the US, if you stay in the US for 3 months, you must exit for 3 months. If you stay in the US for 2 weeks, you must exit for those 2 weeks before you go back. So that if you don't balance that out, it picks you out. You're on the red radar.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Cynthia?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Do they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcast?
Really? Even Meet of the One?
Yeah. I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
Oh, no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live.
Going back to the heart of worship.
Whether up the mountain or down the valley, we were created to worship God.
Enjoy carefully selected worship music every Wednesday all day long.
Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
We take it a notch higher with more worship music.
Every Wednesday
is Worship Wednesday.
Only on Hope FM. Listen and live.
Thank you for choosing Hope TV, the channel that brings you hope, entertainment, and inspiration. We value you and would like to serve you better. Talk to us by scanning this QR code on your screen or go to our social media page at Hope TV Kenya and click on the survey link by the name Hope TV Survey. It will just take a few minutes but means the world to us. We value your feedback. Hope TV, look and live.
Back to the Dialogue KE right here at Hope TV. I do hope you are watching us live. Do talk to us from wherever you are watching tonight's bulletin. I'm joined by amazing personalities who will be helping us make sense of the happenings right here in the country. From my immediate left is an amazing lady. Maybe I'll just give her an opportunity to introduce herself, what she does, before we delve into the day's matters.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Kathy Hirungo. I am an entrepreneur, a community mobilizer, and a politician from Nyeri County. Thank you very much. Glad to be here. It's my first time on Hope TV. And let's engage. Thank
Karibu
you.
sana. And on my far left is a gentleman. I do hope you've seen his face somewhere else. He's been in the political arena. Maybe you introduce yourself. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Simon. My name is David Mwangi. I'm a youth leader. I'm a former aspirant in the Nairobi senatorial seat. as young as 27 years I was. We are here now to speak about a few things about the state of the nation, and I'm so glad because Christian TVs have decided at least now they are going to help people have the civic education. We were so much behind, but now at least things are lighting up, and that is what we really need. Other than that, I'm a businessman in Nairobi, and I know that we'll talk much because I'm into the youth empowerment.
Interesting.
Thank
now, let's begin from here. There was impeachment. It is now a done issue. We all observed what happened. What will be your take in terms of our democracy as Kenya? Where are we, Kathy?
I think our democracy continues to develop, or rather grow. We are seeing, since we promulgated the Constitution 2010,
yes,
there's been a lot of changes. Remember, an impeachment, initially, instead of an impeachment, what would have happened is actually just the president to do a press conference and say, I don't want to work with this guy anymore and pick another person. But since we got our new constitution in 2010,
yes,
it actually gave us a presidency that is not just the president who now picks a deputy president after he is elected into office, but then the deputy president is part and parcel of the presidency.
Yes.
And therefore it's not just it's not easy to really get them out of office, and that is why it necessitated all the things that we have seen that happened, from the National Assembly to the Senate, and of course, we ended up at the judiciary. And this has not been a very easy matter, even for the country. I think one of the things I can say from what has happened is that, of course, all of us know that now we have a new deputy president, and the other one is former. But then that state in itself has actually left the country a bit divided.
Yes.
So there's a lot of just trying to mend fences and trying to bring the people together and trying to walk from a common front as Kenyans, as opposed to walking from one front and another front, either as tribes or as regions.
Yes.
So I think moving forward, and from this bench, I think I would really like to congratulate the new deputy president, Professor Abraham Kindiki Kithure.
Yes.
Is actually a person I know, well, and politically, so to speak. And I think he's equal to the task. We wish him well in his new duties.
Yes.
But then, of course, we expect to see a lot of changes, in terms of, we know what was ailing, the other marriage.
Yes. Yeah.
And therefore, we actually expect that now he's the new kid, and we are all celebrating that he has gotten to that position. We actually expect to see work. We expect to see service delivery, and we actually expect him to be the symbol of national unity and also to be the principal assistant to the president.
Yes.
And Kenyans are actually yearning, to see a scenario where we are working as opposed to just doing politics like it was before. Yeah.
Well, talking about Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki, today was his first Monday in the office, and I'm just looking at him, and a lot of guys have been saying that he is a yes sir person, but is such a character. Is it part of what will set him apart from the rest of the deputies?
I actually don't think he's a yes man. I think he's firm. I think he's a very firm leader. And this I pick from my experience at Bomas, where I was actually an agent for Azimio for Raila Odinga.
Yes.
And he was an agent for William Ruto, the current president. And he was in charge of an entire battalion, an entire team from UDA, and he actually managed to control them, even during moments when things were just going, perhaps opposite of what was expected.
Yes.
And he managed to keep calm and manage them. I think we need to separate two things. He's soft-spoken, yes, and I think some people associate that with being soft. I mean, being soft-spoken does not mean you're necessarily soft.
Yes.
I think he's one firm leader, and we actually expect that moving forward, we are going to see him. And did you see what he did, in this region, the North Rift area? I think it was Baringo, where we had a lot of issues of cattle rustling, insecurity and stuff. And since he came to office, he's been able to, to just clear that issue, and peace has been these divisions and fighting and those insecurity has been a thing of the past. So I think he's firm. Let's not confuse issues. Let's not get
David,
it upside down.
What makes Kithure Kindiki the right choice for Deputy President at this particular moment?
Okay. For the moment, he's the right person because the president needs someone who can listen to him. Many people say he's a yes person. Some I agree, some I disagree. Because also he's a professor, he's gone to school, he knows a few things and here. He may not be as clean as my partner says.
Yes.
But because he has not even accounted still for the missing people, and he was the interior minister. We had more than I had. The ambassador of US say that there are about 67 people still not accounted for. Those are things that maybe he hasn't cleared with us, and I would wish him the best in the new seat, whereby at least, the good part with presidency, the two people have to agree.
Yes.
That is not the challenge. Whether one is of another opinion, they have to sit down and agree. The former marriage or the former union, the problem is that people could not agree. And if you have a government that people cannot disagree to agree, there you'll never have any solution. Because at that point, you'll have fights and you'll have division in the same government. But now it comes Kithure Kindiki as a professor, and he's someone who's gone to school, he's learned. I had the president say that he will be teaching him some lessons because he's higher than him.
Yes.
And we only have 3 years to election. I would wish to say that we don't have time. Time will move so fast. Politics will begin too early. I would just ask them just to make sure we shun from politics and we go now to develop.
You're bringing up an issue to do with only 3 years to go.
Yes.
We do understand that on Friday we saw the DP pledging his allegiance to helping President William Ruto deliver on his promises.
Yes.
How far do you think the Kenya Kwanza government has delivered its promises?
I'm sorry to say that Kenya Kwanza hasn't delivered its promises, and that's why we're having already an infight. And if they had delivered even 20% of the promises, at least Kenyans would be feeling it. And we're having a very big challenge whereby Kenyans up to now are still crying, there's no money, there's no money. The president is really trying also to convince the Kenyans that the new systems that he's putting in place will work. His officers also on the other end, it's like they don't understand the system. Now, that's where I come in. I don't understand if it is him who doesn't understand or it is his people who don't understand. Because you find that a PS will try to explain, for example, SHA. A PS, whole PS or a CS will try to explain the new HELB model. But themselves, they're not convinced and they cannot make people understand. So I don't really understand where the communication barrier is. And I don't understand where we have that breakdown of communication. So that's what I would say. If I was Kithure Kindiki, the newly elected, will I say appointed or elected either, the deputy president, I would go into that first. Let us have a place where everyone in government understands what the government is championing for. It's like some people have been brought, but they don't understand what Kenya Kwanza really wanted. And that's why you'll see the president is so much ahead. Him is thinking about, it's like he's 10 years away from the reality. And those are the challenges that should be addressed. Otherwise, if they don't address that, I'm sorry to say that Kenya Kwanza will not come back to government.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now, Kathy, there's an issue he just brought about 3 years. Is it enough for them to deliver now that we have someone that, let's say, the government has the same voice?
Yeah, I'll tell you two things. I'm a politician and I've participated in 2 elections myself, and I've also supported presidential candidates before, and I'm coming from an understanding of really what it means to be in government and to be in opposition, because I've been in both. So
you've tested both.
Yes. So now, one of the things that I know about politics is that it is easy to criticize or to critique when you're on the opposing side. So it is actually very easy to point out the things that are not being done by government when you're from, when you're from the opposition. But then I really want to agree with my brother here, Mwangi. There's something that he has raised, and I want to agree that it is actually true. I think there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of work that is being done by the current regime, but the communication is not done in the right way. So people are failing to understand what they are doing. Like, for example, there's this issue of the economic turmoils and the problems that we're experiencing as a country. You know, it's not really a Kenyan, it's a global issue. You know, since COVID, the economies across the globe were affected. But we are not, as Mwangi is saying, we are not able to communicate that clearly. And now people are thinking that this regime is the one that is causing the problems that we are facing financially.
Yes.
Although I agree that there are certain issues that will need to be addressed moving forward. Now, in terms of what you asked me, whether the 3 years are actually enough for them to deliver, I believe yes. If there is goodwill, that is enough time to deliver for Kenyans. Now, unfortunately, we've actually started on a very high tone in terms of our politicking. So right now, we seem to be doing more politics than work, which is actually very unfortunate. I would actually call that political misbehaving of us politicians. You know, like we just elected the president and everybody else the other day. Now we are back to campaigns, and we're going to campaign for another 3 years so that maybe some people get elected or some people get kicked out of office. So I find this quite interesting. Let me tell you, we like discussing individuals as opposed to discussing issues. I don't know where we got this wrong. Look at all the publications and everything that you can see on social media. Social media is awash with personal attacks and maneno here and there. You know, now with the power of TikTok and WhatsApp and all these things, we are saying everything that is bad about individuals instead of looking at what is it that we need to do. You know, what are these policies, like this particular regime, the regime that is governing this country now, they overpromised, and that is a fact. You know, it's like they actually promised people heaven, and I don't know whether they are going to be able to take us to that heaven, but we really hope that in between now and the general election, that we get to service delivery and deliver to Kenyans, because that is what Kenyans want. And we can quickly pick a few issues that Kenyans keep raising, and I'm sure they have talked to you, you know, from here and even out there when you interact with them. Kenyans are very concerned about healthcare. Kenyans are very concerned about food security. Kenyans are very concerned about issues of unemployment and all that. And of course, insecurity, you know, there's so many questions that have not been answered. For example, myself as a woman, as I sit here, I think over the last 6 months, I've attended burials of women that I knew, young and old, who've been killed. And up to now, we've not been told why these women were killed, first of all. And the people who perpetrated those violent acts and murders have not been taken to book. You know, so all these issues that are happening in this country are matters that need to be addressed, and Kenyans are waiting to hear what the government has to say about these issues, and we need answers. Yeah.
David,
yes.
She actually brought up a very important issue to do with the femicide. We've also had extrajudicial killings and all these abductions. You are a youth.
Yes.
Yeah, from the look of things.
Yes. I'm a Gen Z.
Yes. So, and then most of these...
He's a Gen Z senator.
Yes.
We've had issues to do with abductions, and most of them have been youth who are opposed per se to the regime, the current regime. Would it be a way of silencing them? Do we still have the youth who can stand and defend the constitution, defend their stand?
Okay, let me start with one issue, and I'm sorry about the youth who have been abducted. Some have gone missing. Some have right now the story has changed. Now we're on femicide. Women are being found dead, being stabbed, cut, and all this comes to where we talk about security. And it might be, we really still don't know who is doing the abductions. We really still don't know who is doing the killing. So we're in a moment whereby people are saying that the government is doing the abduction. This other side of the femicide issue, it cannot be government, definitely. So it is another group of people, or those are people who are evildoers. And whenever we have a point whereby we cannot trace human beings. We cannot know when someone has left this place. The person misses for 3 days. That's when we come to understand that the person is in another county. That is where he's being found. Those are issues that we need to come and sit. And we need to agree on one thing. Security has to come first. And if you want to save the country, abduction is not the solution. Because if people are not satisfied with the system of governance, if people are not satisfied with whatever government is giving, they should be made to understand and be given a free thinking moment whereby they can express their issues. They can go to court and express their what they're not happy. They can go, they're supposed to be given platform. And that is the whole point. But also we can see sometimes, also us as the youth, we go too far. And yesterday someone was saying, regardless of how young you are, there are limits to doing things. And you find that the generations right now, we don't agree with each other. Why? As the young people want things fast, we want results for today, but we want them very fast right now, right here. Some things don't go that way. And we need to understand that dialogue is the only way. Because Kenya is one country. We cannot ban our country and remain without a country. Because if we do that, we will go the military way, like we've seen in other countries. And it doesn't go well. 40 years, 50 years, people are still in a military state. People are still fighting. People are in very, very funny situations. It gets worse every day. Now, that is on the government side. On the abduction side, I'm very sorry. And again, I'll say, the system there is failing us totally. We thought politicians were safe. We thought people with money were safe. We thought women were safer than the boy child. Right now, no one is safe. And that's why I keep saying, if you don't come out and protest, if you don't come out and say your problems, if you don't come out and say this is bad and this is good, they will come for you. You never know who comes for you. It might be government coming for you. It might be the abductors coming for you, which you don't know who they are. And it affects us, all of us. So if it is insecurity, it is an issue for everyone. Whether you're good, whether you're bad. If there's insecurity in a country, it will hit you rock bottom. And I was listening now to the politicians. Politicians, like for example, there was a politician, I think the daughter was I think she died the other day. And people are asking me, if this is a politician, the daughter has gone this side, what about the common one? The politician was saying, this police, I think in Nyeri, they should leave. Now I was asking, what about the common Mwananchi, the poor mother in Nyeri, who does not have any connection? What type of insecurity does she face? So it is an issue that we should face, all of us, come to our table and conclude and agree. We be our brother's keeper. You should be knowing where your sister is. And most of the university and college students, I would like to encourage them, make sure that even if you stay alone, make sure that your neighbors, closest neighbors, are either your schoolmates, your workmates, or your classmates. That is the only way. Because as we said 3 years, 4 years ago, security begins with you. You cannot be living alone in the bush. You go home late, you're out of the parties late, and then when you're abducted or if anything happens to you, no one even understands where you are. And also make sure that you have someone who is trusted, who knows where you are. At least every 1 hour you can be giving them heads up where you are. Yes.
Interesting. Kathy, you did bring up the issue to do with Professor Kindiki having silenced the guns in Baringo and the northern part of the country. Now, on Friday, the head of state was talking about national unity. We need to move away from tribal profiling and all that. These are some of the issues that a number of leaders have been addressing of late. Now we have Professor Kithure Kindiki as a good picture in terms of having tried to silence the guns and just talking about unity. Where are we as a country?
I think as a country, we've actually made tremendous steps. We've walked, right from when we had the post-election violence to now. I think we've actually made some very good steps, including setting up of institutions that manage and govern issues to do with peace and issues to do with coexistence. We should live as brothers and sisters and all that. But there's something I mentioned earlier when we were beginning, what I called misbehaving by the politicians, ourselves as politicians. And I feel like if you're not careful, we can easily slip back to something similar to the 2007 because of the way the politicians behave. It's not because of the vote. It's not because of the voter. It's not because of the citizenry. It's because of us, the politicians, being very careless, you know, with words, being very careless about the things we say about other people and about other tribes, about other regions, or even how some leaders will come out. And I want to pick, for example, when you alienate a community from the entire country and focus so much effort and talk about them consistently, you sort of, you know, pulling them out of the fabric that is called Kenya.
Yes.
You know, so that way you're not preaching unity, you're not preaching coexistence, you're not preaching cohesion. Instead, you're actually dividing, or such a leader is dividing the country further. So from where I see it, I think we need to see more work being done, both by the civil society, by the government, you know, people in government, those who are elected, but even, you know, for the state like yourselves, we need to continue with peace building efforts, because peace can also be very elusive. You know, we enjoy it today, but in a country like Kenya, in most African countries, it is very easy to you know, to let it go, you know, because of our own political misbehavior. Now, for me, from my own experience and from where I sit, I think it is time for us to call our leaders to embrace political hygiene, you know, so that you don't just go out there and say whatever you want to say. You don't just go out there because you're a young person and decide that you're going to cause, you know, havoc, and you don't want people to be peaceful and that kind of a thing. But that does not mean that the young people, the civil society, and all of us, we should not, it doesn't mean that we should not agitate for good leadership, for service delivery. We should endeavor to ask the government and to ask our responsible readers to be responsive, you know, to do the right thing at the right time. And I don't think this is too much to ask for from our leaders, because that is exactly what we expect from them. So I think that responsibility of peace building and ensuring that we live like brother and sister starts with us, the leaders. Yeah.
David, yes. We did see that his former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, while in charge, he said something, and I've also been going through social media.
Yes.
He said that tulimpatia kura na saizi hatutaki kumsumbua afanye kazi, lakini tumngojea arudi kwetu 2027. If you listen to such a clip closely, there's a meaning you can get. And also on social media, I've come across a number of photos.
Yes.
It is actually one photo, just that a comparison of UDA offices now painted white.
Yes, yes.
Meaning they are trying to get rid of that.
Yes.
It is just a simple portrayal of, we feel like President William Ruto did betray us.
Yes.
And if that is the case, how would, what are some of the strategies do you think that now the head of state will need to use, because he still needs to lure the entire Mount Kenya region?
I told our parents the other day that if they try to become emotional this time, we'll hide their IDs. We might even decide to hide them even early before, so that they don't vote. Because the worst part we have right now as voters, mostly our parents, is that they're emotive, they're emotional. Right now, everyone is saying the president betrayed us, because it's like they were giving him so that he could give back. No one looked at the issue based. No one even remembers the Kenya Kwanza manifesto. No one even is questioning, these guys promised this, what have they delivered? That is what question that you've asked. It has been asked to me after a very long time, maybe 1 year. That's when people have said, hey, have Kenya Kwanza even tried? We've only been doing emotive politics, whereby, and that is a problem. I'm from Mount Kenya personally. I was a young man, and we are so emotive, and we vote because we want to punish people. Why do you wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. to go punish another human being? Why don't you go vote so that you can achieve what you wanted to achieve for the 5 years? Right now we are emotive because now we want to punish the president, because we are saying he has removed our person from government. When you were voting him in, we were there punishing Uhuru because we were saying he has brought Baba. So all the time we're emotive, and that's the problem with us.
Yes.
And anytime we have emotions in politics, we will never achieve. And 2027 will be a very different year of election, whereby if you can look right now, we are having the US elections. You haven't heard anything about race. You've heard about issue-based only. That is where we want to get. We want to get to a political moment whereby people can say what they want to do, people can say what they want to give, people can say what they want to change. I've not ever heard anyone in this country campaign and say the minimum wage should be 15,000. I've never heard anyone say in this country I'm campaigning because I need these kilometers of roads in this constituency. I've never heard anyone say I'm campaigning because I need free primary education, whereby we can reinstitute all the funds, all the CDFs that we have from the president to the MCA. They are brought together so that we can have free education. I've never had such conversation. The conversations that I hear are, sisi tutapata nini watu wa mlima? Sisi watu wa Nakuru tutapata nini? That is the challenge that we are having. Sisi tutapewa ministers wangapi? Sisi tutapatiwa MCAs wangapi nominated? Tutapatiwa senators wangapi nominated? When we argue such, and when we reduce ourselves to such, we will be here complaining about development. If we are having a genuine campaign, it would not even be difficult to impeach the deputy president. It would be very easy. We would be knowing this guy is going, another person will come. Whatever the Kenya Kwanza had decided will still be pushed on. Right now, we are here now saying, hey, our guy has gone home. We will not get development. Our guy has gone home.
But,
our school will
but
not develop.
even
Those
with
are
that guy in the office, which development did our people get?
That's what I'm saying.
You know, it was never about the people. It was about an individual.
Yes, no, so that is the problem.
Now,
and in 2027, these things will change.
Bring me to that bit. He's speaking like a youth who is open-minded. It's no longer emotive.
Yeah.
But you understand that our mothers back in the village, whatever they hear, the individual who is assumed to be their leader says, that is what they follow.
Yeah, and he's actually right. He's actually right. You know.
Can we change such mentalities?
Yeah, but it would take us to pay the price. It would take us to actually embrace certain sacrifices. Let me tell you, the first time I ran for political office, I was 26 years old, and I ran for the Nyeri County Woman Representative seat. Fresh from campus, you know, and I was a student leader, and therefore I'm thinking I know everything about politics. But then when I got to the ground, sasa nikapata mambo kwa ground ni tofauti.
Yes.
And you start realizing the problem at times is not even with you, the candidate, the person who want to lead the people, but even with the people, because of their attitude towards leadership and their attitude towards good governance, their attitude towards leaders. Because you know, you go to people, and the first thing they ask, how much money do you have? How much money are you giving me? I'm ready to vote for you. Nipatie pesa. You know, that's one thing. Number two, so that is one of the hindrances that I would pick personally as a young, you know, as a young person, as a woman, and say these are some of the challenges that you face if I were to talk to a younger brother or sister like Mwangi here and say, you know, are you prepared to face this? Because people, I want to say that even Wanjiku herself, and in this case Wanjiku, I'm referring to the electorate, even Wanjiku is not genuine. No, it's like Wanjiku has really mutated. Or she keeps mutating. One time you talk to her, she wants development. The next day you go to her, she wants unga. The next minute you go to Wanjiku, they want 50 shillings from you. The next time you go to Wanjiku, then they are saying Ruto or Uhuru or Raila must go. You know, please, I think even our viewers, we need to do we need to talk. Lazima tuongee hapa.
Genuine talk.
You know, genuine talk. But the problem starts from the political parties, to me, because our political parties are not issue-based. You know, exactly what my brother said here. Our politics are built around whipping of emotions.
Yes.
They are built around tribes. They are built around money. They are built around, so when people go out, you know, Sammy, if you check when we take to the podiums and we start doing politics and we start talking about the other person, do you know how bad we can get with each other? And we'll even say, ule ni mwenda wazimu, ule ni muganga, ule ni mwizi. You know, we are not issue-based. And even, by the way, even the people themselves, again, have a problem. There's a time we took some manifestos of a presidential candidate to KICC, and we met a big number of guys, just picking the manifestos, and nobody bothered to read. Like I could tell, you give someone a manifesto, and a manifesto is as big as this book or even bigger, and someone would just look at the front page and say, hey, this one is handsome, or this one looks like I don't know how we are going to vote for him or we are not going to vote for her. The next thing, people will just peruse. If you ask people, what did the presidential candidate that you voted for, what did they stand for? What did their manifesto say? Because to me, most of these manifestos are actually almost the same. You'll see a manifesto for TNA, a manifesto for Jubilee, a manifesto for DP, a manifesto for PNU. Same issues, because our problems have been the same. Roads, water, education. And even the things that were promised by that other government, you'll find this other government repeating and promising, and perhaps very little getting done.
Yes.
So we need to get to work. We need to get things done. We need to get really honest in our promises to people. And even where they are not achievable, let's try to do something. At least hata kama haija work yote, let it work to a certain extent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I know you talked about being in Azimio and all that. Now we do have, we understand that ideally Azimio is at a breaking point. Because right now we have the APK leaving. Yes, we also had NAC Kenya.
Yes.
Wiper is almost likely to leave. Are we likely to have an opposition?
Okay, you see, we are actually in a very interesting situation right now in Kenya, because Raila Odinga, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, is the face of the Kenyan opposition politics. And when he decided to join government and even offer a few of his lieutenants to go and serve in the Kenya Kwanza government, I know there are those people who criticized him, but he came out and said, I'm offering these young men to go and work so that we can have, like a working nation. So at least tunaweza pay out, we give them a boost and we see if things will start working. Now, whether things have started working from that time to now is something that we really need to evaluate.
Yes.
But having said that, I think we are going to see more exodus of political parties leaving Azimio. Because Azimio, as it is right now, Azimio was made of parties and it had principles, including His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, and his SG, Jeremiah Kioni and others. And of course, we had DAP, which has Eugene Wamalwa and his other officials. We had Wiper, Kalonzo Musyoka and others. We had Kanu, Gideon Moi and company. So all these guys, I think, and of course we had the Iron Lady,
Yes.
Martha Karua. And Martha Karua was the first person with her own party, NAC Kenya, to bolt out of Azimio. Yes. So I think that exodus is going to happen. It's going to be repeated by all these parties. But remember, Sammy, who are we as Kenyans? Do not forget how we run our politics. Because from my observation, from the time I started voting and running for office 2 times, we love new things. We love new political parties. Actually, the only thing, there's a saying that the only thing that is saying that is changing is the forest, but the monkeys are the same. Because you'll find these guys will just get together again. One group will call themselves Sammy Political Party, then another group will form, same people, and they will call themselves Mwangi Political Party. Then there's going to be another smaller group, maybe Wanjiko Political Party. So that's how we do our politics, and that is what is going to happen. Azimio will be killed, then another party will emerge or another coalition.
I'd like to say 2 things. Azimio is dead on arrival right now. It's fully dead. The politics will change. The formations will change. What will happen this time? We'll have a politics of, a very funny politics. We'll have issue-based politics, and I still insist, whereby the younger generation, us as a youth, we have started understanding how things run. People like Kalonzo Musyoka entered politics in 1970s, in 1980s. Raila Odinga, 1970s. Ruto himself, the president, he entered politics in 1980s. These people have been there, and we have not heard anything new. And it's time right now we are telling them, we'll need change. And if we need change, we need to bring new people. We need to bring a new generation into the politics. We need to bring new people, new faces that don't know even, they cannot even negotiate because they don't even understand how things work. But the moment we bring the same people, as she said, different monkeys, the forest is the same. The forest is the same, we have the same monkeys.
There's also an issue. Remember during the Maandamano, the Gen Z-led Maandamano, we would see the youth fully against the government. But then later on, even recently, on Friday, we would see a few of them running towards these politicians. Like, what is happening? Is it that we have a short memory as voters? What is happening?
I just told you here, we are so emotive. And the good part is we still have a lot of time. And I would like to tell the youth, we still have a lot of time. Don't lose hope. Most of the youths will be running to all politicians because they're broke. Most of the youth will be running to politicians because they're desperate. They have nowhere to go. They have no one to borrow. They have no one to assist them. And they have decided to make politicians become their demigods. But the good part is they will not forget. Don't think that now because they run to the politicians, they will one day forget. Because what happens, even if a politician, you follow him, he will not assist you to what you want. Right now, we're having so many youths going to Qatar, so many youths going to Asia. We don't have job creation in this country. And it will still be there. It will affect and continue affecting us. The only problem is that it will accumulate. And it's high time the government knows that they have to solve these issues. There's no way you will do an advertisement, you want to employ 20,000 youths, whereby you have 6.57 million youths who are jobless. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even add up. The problem is the same. And with time, people will learn that elections will change. We will not be tribal forever. People should come and understand that. It will come a new generation whereby people will believe in different issues. We'll have another generation whereby even Christians in church will come up and vie for seats. We'll have presidents who know God and who obey God from the beginning to the end. We'll have members of parliament who come and sit in church and they're told what to do and what not to do. We'll have a shake-up, and that is coming.
Yes.
And that is not, we cannot avoid it.
I do understand time is almost, actually, we are out of time, but a quick one from you, Kathy Irungu. We do understand that there are several issues. He's talked about unemployment, we've talked about economy, and all these other issues that the government has to solve. What would be your take-home? Keep in mind, you've been in the political arena sometime.
Yeah, that's true. So there's something that you touched on, and I would like to add my voice to it as well, the issue of our young people and the Gen Zs for that matter. I think every generation from the times of our great-grandfathers, our grandfathers, come like that from multi-partyism, because when multi-party politics was being played, I was a young girl, but yes, because of my interest in politics, I could still follow what was going on. We have all the time, we've had some Gen Z, we've had some group that is similar to the Gen Zs we have today. And those individuals came out and did their part then. The young generation of today, the Gen Zs, are doing their thing now. But that is not new. They are more empowered because they have the power of tech, and and even their mobilization seems to be easier because of technology. But it is very important to appreciate that now we are dealing with a population that is woke. We are dealing with people who understand what really ails the nation. And therefore, even the politicians, the lawmakers, and even the people who are seeking to be elected into office, or even the people who are in power now, need to know that they are addressing and they are dealing with a population that understands. From the Gen Zs, even to us millennials, and even to the older generation. I think Kenyans are really getting information from social media, from the dailies and the TVs and the radios and everywhere else. Where we need to move as a country, we need to actually start delivering and offering services to people, creating employment, addressing our really biting issues, and we know them, including the funding model for our universities, for example. Because for some of us, if we did not benefit from help, then we would not even be where we are. So we cannot afford to deny our young people an opportunity to go through the education system that once benefited us, the older generation. So it is very important that we address these issues so that we have a functional, a functional country and a country where things are not just seen to be done, but we also need to feel that things are being done. So for me, we need to deliver. Right now, the buck stops at the executive, the legislature, the registrators that we have, and everybody who is in a position of power, and they can deliver this for Kenyans. Because whether we like it or not, this is the government that is there. And if they can deliver to Kenyans and reduce some of this pressure, ile inatoka kwa ground, as we keep saying, that would be a very good thing for us all.
Thank you so much. David,
yes,
I do understand you vied you wanted to become Nairobi Senator.
Yes, sir.
If today you are in the Senate,
yes,
as your parting shot,
yes,
what will be one of the things you would actually concentrate on highly to make sure that Kenya is not
the same?
Yes.
I would deal with only one thing first. I would deal with mental health. We are having a crazy country right now. Out of every 4 people, you're having one person who is being affected by the mental health. Mental health can be brought about by poverty, can be brought about by lack of work, can be brought about by relationships, can be brought about by so much education and everything. And everything begins from the mind. And as a mental health expert and as a mental health advocate, that is what I would start for. I would start with that, make sure that we have free mental awareness. We have free mental people who will be advising others and advisors in every constituency and every ward. And you can see that the problem we're having right now, if you want to go to an advisor, for example, or someone who will help you to deal with your mental health, you pay them 5,000 per hour. If your problem is poverty, how are you supposed to pay 5,000 per hour? Are you supposed to eat, or are you supposed to pay someone 5,000 to help you with your mental illness? Those are the challenges that we should be having. We are having right now. And I'd like to tell the governors, you guys, create centers where people can go scream, where people can go pray, where people can go even shout their problems and their advice. Because the biggest problem you're having with the Kenyan youth, the Kenyan woman, the Kenyan man, our fathers, is mental illness. That is what we are having, and that is the biggest problem. When we sort that out, when people are okay, things will work.
Thank you so much, lady and gentlemen, for joining us tonight. That has been the Dialogue KE. My name is Sammy Adika, and our sign language interpreter at the right bottom of your screen is Boniface Mureithi. Thank you for choosing Hope TV once again. Do have a wonderful night. Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.